Today, we're exploring the art of luxury living. Interior design plays a powerful role in how home feels, how it functions, and even how it performs in real estate market. I'm here with interior designer Adam Cassino, whose work is known for its timeless elegance and refined sophistication. Adam, when you're designing home for a luxury client, what is the first thing you're looking for?
The first thing we look for really is we like to have an interview with the client. We like to learn how they live, what their priorities are, what they're looking to achieve, and it's really the lifestyle first before we get into the design and the planning.
Adam, your work is known for elegance and timeless sophistication. What is your design philosophy?
Philosophy really is to mix in elegant, timeless pieces that are of good quality, and then you can accessorize and bring in some things that are a bit more trendy that are tailored to the client's specific style. And all of that can be changed in and out. So I think even if you look around my showroom, you'll see there's a lot of neutrals, there's a lot of beautiful bases, and then we mix in color with art.
That is great. And even from the real estate perspective, in terms of value, sometimes I walked into the home that was done maybe just a few years ago, but because it was so specific, it's not necessarily relevant to what's happening
Right.
now.
Yep.
And so creating that timeless design and sophistication where 10 years from now, maybe even more, you walk in and it still looks kind of fresh
Yep.
and relevant.
Yep.
And that's, I think, is very important, especially when you're working with that luxury client
Yep.
and investing so much time and energy and money into
Yeah.
design and planning.
Yeah, absolutely. We just did a house in Southampton that was a 30,000 square foot house. And the main thing he wanted was timeless and elegant, exactly, because it was a generational house. You know,
Fantastic.
it's a huge house where he can have his family, his extended family, his children, their children. So that was the whole goal, was timeless and elegant. And we really delivered on that. And that's important to most of our
That
clients.
is so beautiful
Yep.
too. That generational
Right.
wealth
To
and
be passed down
sophistication.
the home, the design, obviously update in many years, but you
Right.
want it to be able to pass down. You want the bones to be there.
Adam, what are the latest trends in interior design for 2026?
I think a big trend that I'm seeing um, post-COVID, but even more so every year, is a trend for wellness. And that obviously translates into the home. So we're now designing a lot of wellness spaces. We're designing huge spa bathrooms that have cold plunges, infrared saunas. We're even having a lot of times we're incorporating the outdoor pool companies to come in and work with us because people want these spas and tubs that are so big that they need all the equipment. So wellness is a big thing. We're even having some people that have massage rooms built in where they can bring in bigger gyms, home gyms, beauty salons in the home. So a lot of wellness that people are focusing on now. And they also want that to feel uh, like a home wellness space. So,
Right.
not going to a gym, something that is warm and part of your home, but still brings in that wellness.
I love it. So it's a longevity room, I call it,
Longevity, yeah.
longevity space,
Hmm.
which is wonderful.
Yep.
Infrared saunas, red light therapy, and
Yep. All of these technologies that people want to bring in and they want to have it done in a beautiful way. So,
fantastic.
yep.
If you enjoy this content and relevant information, please make sure to like and subscribe. Adam, many of my luxury clients are creating homes that are both beautiful but also very functional.
Yep.
In your opinion, what are the most important elements to have in today's home?
I find that in homes where people, it's their primary home, it's different priorities than in a Hamptons home or a summer home. So,
Makes sense.
for instance, a dining room in Long Island, in the city, a lot of my clients like to have a formal dining room and a dining room that functions, a dining room that's not too fancy, that they can dine on every night with their family. In the Hamptons, they like to have much bigger open floor plans where they can have parties, they can have a lot of guests. And then there's also the entertainment spaces. So the entertainment spaces in a beach house, a lot of times it's an outdoor entertainment space. Whereas on the North Shore of Long Island, we're doing a lot of home theaters. or if they don't have space for that, a family room that feels like a home theater, somewhere where the whole family can get together, playrooms if there's multiple children, bar areas for the adults, somewhere again where it's about your lifestyle. And on a weekly basis, everyone in the family is happy and has a great place where they can entertain, have friends over, and feel comfortable.
As a real estate advisor, I see that the design,
Mhm.
beautiful design, proper design, can elevate the value of
Yep.
luxury homes
Mhm.
significantly. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think there's multiple areas where when you're selling a home where you benefit from resale when it comes to interior design. The big areas I think are kitchens and bathrooms because they're obviously the hardest to change. It's not just furniture, it's construction. So you really want to have kitchens and bathrooms that look luxurious, have nice materials, good finishes, and are also pleasing to most. You know, nothing that's too specific that someone comes in and they hate the color, they want to change it. So I think those two spaces, and then also again going back to the flow.
Mhm.
You want someone to come in, you want to design the space, even with the furniture, you want to design the space where someone can come in and they can just see themselves there. They can feel comfortable, they can see living there, entertaining there.
Share with me an inspiration behind your work, behind your design. Is it your travels? Is
Mhm.
it something else?
So I take inspiration from wherever I go. You know, I go to, my friends laugh because I go to nice restaurants and hotels and things like that, not for the food, although I'm Italian, I love food, but I'm constantly looking around. You know, I go to a restaurant, I get inspiration from the bar, the ceiling, the restaurants and commercial spaces a lot of times take more of a risk because it's not a residential home. So they have
Mhm.
really interesting out there designs, but I can take those elements and then sort of scale it back and make it something that I can put in your home. Also, when I travel, I'm always constantly looking and shopping and getting ideas. I recently went to Marrakech and I went to the markets there and I ended up having to buy a whole other suitcase because I found these great pillows and sculptures and I brought them back to use in my store and for my clients. And that's something that's also really unique. I like to bring authentic pieces from my travels and make them available to my customers back here.
A lot of my clients actually bring home
Yeah.
inspiration from their travels,
Hmm.
which is very consistent with what you're sharing. That's
Yep.
wonderful.
Yep.
That's great.
Thanks.
Adam, what are the design elements that instantly elevate the space and make home feel more luxurious?
I think the elements that really elevate a space and make it feel more luxurious are often the elements that the average person may skip on. So, lighting, number one, spending money on beautiful lighting, drapery, rugs, and making the whole space feel really complete. These are things that a lot of times people think they don't have to do. They skimp on the lighting, they don't feel they have to dress the windows because it's too expensive, but everything should feel like it was designed by a professional, you know?
Absolutely. What materials are defining luxury interiors right now?
Materials that really set a home apart from just a spec house or a standard home and a luxury home, I think, are elements like wallpaper, wallpapering your walls, not being afraid to do things that are a little bit more permanent. You know, just a painted wall versus a wallpaper wall really completes a room. Using natural stone in your powder rooms, doing really impressive, beautiful onyx or a beautiful stone can really feel elevated. Plaster walls also instead of
Love it.
wallpaper is a nice option. Anything that really just brings something unique to the home. You know, you don't want to walk in and have your standard sheetrocked walls. That's a spec. Hardware also is a big thing. Door hardware, cabinet hardware. These are all, it's like jewelry on a home. You know, these are all things that someone like myself coming in, I notice these things, you know, the really beautiful hardware versus the spec house hardware. And the discerning shopper will also notice that, notice the good materials, good hardware, good plumbing, good lighting. These small elements are things that elevate a home from a standard home to a really well done luxury home.
What is one of the most memorable projects that you recently worked on? Can you share a little bit on that?
Yeah, I recently finished a home actually right here in Brookville for an Indian family. And it was really interesting because I learned so much about their culture and the way that they live and how it related to design. So there were all these beautiful, intricate carvings they brought in from India. And those are very traditional, usually, all of these carvings. So we had to integrate that into their house was very modern, very sleek, very modern. So it was a really cool and interesting challenge.
And it is so beautiful that modern families continue with
The tradition.
traditions. And I have tremendous respect for Indian culture.
Mhm.
Go to ashrams actually.
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
can
beautiful.
completely relate to what you're sharing,
Mhm.
and it's always incredible.
Yep.
Adam, if someone is designing their dream home
Mhm.
today, what would be one piece of advice that you can give?
I think the main piece of advice before you do anything is select the right professional. Work with someone who you're comfortable with. Work with someone
Smart.
who understands what you're looking to achieve,
Hmm.
understands the way that you live, as we spoke about, and really gets you and your vision. Because without that, it's going to be constant butting heads. You're not going to be happy with one another. It's going to prolong the process. So make sure that you choose the person. It's like dating, make sure you choose the person you're dating. I'm dating my clients. We're together for at least 2 years on some of these projects, and then it
Sure.
extends beyond a lot of times where we become great friends, and
And do
you're
multiple homes
multiple
too.
homes, and I'm intimately involved in their lives, in their daily
Absolutely.
lives, their kids, the way they live. So rule number one, make sure that you're comfortable with the professional you pick and that you understand each other.
So, luxury design is about creating a home that reflects who people are and
Mhm.
how they live their
Right.
life. It's all about lifestyle.
Yep.
Thank you, Adam, so much for sharing your
Thank,
insights.
thank you.
Thank you.